Madam Secretary, I want to get right into the situation regarding the upcoming 2020 election. As we know, Governor Wolf chose to unilaterally decertify every voting machine in Pennsylvania recently, even machines like the ones used in Chester County that had Scantron-style paper ballots. A June 2019 Associated Press article by Mark Levy quoted the governor saying that the integrity of Pennsylvania's elections is everyone's responsibility. Later in the article, a nameless source from the governor's office issued the somewhat menacing statement that if they, the counties, elect not to support protecting Pennsylvania's votes, Governor Wolf will assess the best path forward for the Commonwealth. Last year, the Department of State held an event at the Farm Show complex where voting machine vendors could hawk their wares to county officers dutifully looking to buy new voting machines. I went to that event and I tried many of the machines myself. In my view, the clear choice was the Scantron-style machine that Chester County uses. Many of the other machines required multiple input steps or required the voter to go through multiple touch screens to locate their candidate for a given race. Unfortunately, the governor and the Department of State, after mandating counties to buy new machines, gave lousy guidance regarding what new machines counties should purchase. Philadelphia and other counties purchased expensive new voting machines that are now being challenged in court. Just yesterday, Madam Secretary, you were in federal court on this very matter. According to Emily Previty's PA Post report this morning, the judge asked you how voting would proceed in the presidential election if he invalidated Philadelphia's voting machines. As the top elections official in this state, your response was, I don't know. To summarize, 9 months out from the most consequential election of our lifetime, in a swing state with the eyes of the nation watching, there is still no consensus on the voting machines that the state prefers to see counties use. As the top election official in the state, you told a judge yesterday that, quote, chaos would ensue, end quote, if he ruled against your position. Hardly a reassuring statement. Madam Secretary, what can you say to this committee and the people of Pennsylvania to give us some comfort that on election night this November, Pennsylvania will not be the next version of the Iowa caucus debacle?
Thank you for your question, Representative. So I want to start out by saying I was on the stand for 3.5 hours yesterday, and Ms. Prevetti's article discussed about 1 minute of that 3.5 hours. So there were lots of other things said. What the judge asked me, and which is not clear from the reporting in the article, was if I were to say it needed to be decertified before the April 28th primary, what would be the circumstances? So I just want to be clear, the article was not. So for the primary, well, and I have to say that after that discussion, I'm very happy to say it was effective because the plaintiffs actually withdrew their request that this happen before the primary, which was the point of discussing the burden on Pennsylvania, 3 counties, not just Philadelphia, who were planning to use this for the primary. So I'm happy to say the end result is that they're not seeking that, which I did say would cause chaos if it was decertified before the primary. For the general, that was a different discussion, and that's not clear in the article. So first of all, so you asked a series of questions. I think we in Pennsylvania, under Pennsylvania law, every voting system that's certified needs to be certified by both the federal government and the state government. In 2018, we created a whole host of new security tests and accessibility testing that every system, in order to be certified in Pennsylvania, needed to go through. We've now certified 8 systems, one of which is the one being challenged in court. The Department of State, the Election Assistance Commission by the federal government, a whole handful, maybe half a dozen or more other states use these systems, including states that have at least, just as secure testing as we do. So we have full confidence in every single system in Pennsylvania. And frankly, the fact that counties use different systems actually adds to our security posture, because if there were one system that were vulnerable, having more than one and having, we have maybe between 20 and 25 different configurations of systems being used in counties across the Commonwealth, that's a strength. That's actually a strength. So I'm happy to answer kind of specific additional questions, but overall, we have confidence in both defeating the challenge that was brought yesterday. We have confidence in the security of the elections. We have confidence of every single system being selected by a
Madam
county.
Secretary, according again to this article, the Department of State Attorney Timothy Gates testified yesterday. No one ever made it a point to nail down which phrase or definition to use to refer to the paper that voting machines should produce. Now, that's a startling statement. Since it seems, Madam Secretary, that it was up in the air in the court yesterday, can you tell me what is your definition of a paper ballot?
I can, Representative, and again, I'm sure, I'm guessing that every person in this room has been in this circumstance where you said one thing, or maybe 3.5 hours of things, and the way it's quoted in the paper is not accurate. So our settlement agreement from November of 2018 was explicitly clear, and what it said was, the parties agree that all systems certified in Pennsylvania will have the vote recorded on paper, that the vote will be verifiable by the voter, and that it must be an auditable paper record of the vote. And so those were 3 explicit definitions of what every system had to include. And the fourth was the parties agree that the path that the department had already set, which started in April of 2018, saying that all the counties needed to upgrade, as you referred to earlier, that would continue, that the parties were agreeing to continue on that path. So the settlement agreement is explicit, and the parties agreed to it. I was at that settlement conference, and I can tell you 100% there was agreement. So is Jill Stein trying to come back in and make herself relevant again? Yes, she's suing us. Do I think that there's any validity to that challenge? I do not.